Hook. Thousands of green cards get denied every single year, and in most cases, it's because of a mistake that was completely avoidable. If you're applying in 2026, the next 10 minutes could save your entire case. On-screen text, 10 green card mistakes, don't make these in 2026. Intro. Hey everyone, welcome back to Green Card Blueprint. I'm going to walk you through the 10 most common mistakes that lead to green card denials in 2026, and more importantly, I'm going to tell you exactly how to avoid every single one of them. Now, whether you're filing on your own or working with a lawyer, whether you're applying through family, through work, or through the diversity lottery, these mistakes apply to almost everyone. Graphic, list of all 10 mistakes appearing one by one on screen. We'll cover the 5 biggest mistakes in detail, then rapid fire through 5 more that catch people off guard. And at the end, I'll tell you exactly what to do if your green card has already been denied. So stay until the end, this one matters. Why denials are rising. Before we jump into the mistakes, let's talk about why this is so important right now. In 2026, USCIS, that's United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, the agency that processes green cards, has been issuing more requests for evidence and more outright denials than in previous years. Graphic, bar chart showing rising denial rates from 2022 to 2026. Stricter enforcement, updated policy guidance, and an overwhelmed system mean that even small errors can sink your application. The good news? Almost all of these mistakes are preventable. Let's get into it. Mistake number 1, missing filing deadlines. On-screen text, mistake number 1, missing deadlines. This is the one that breaks my heart the most, because it's the most avoidable. Here's how it works. When USCIS sends you a notice, maybe it's a request for evidence, called an RFE, or a notice for your biometrics appointment, or a deadline to respond to something, they give you a specific number of days to respond. If you miss that deadline, they can deny your case. Period. And here's the thing people don't realize, USCIS counts from the date the notice was issued, not the date you received it. So if the mail is slow, you might already be behind before you even open the envelope. Graphic, timeline showing notice issued versus notice received versus deadline. How to avoid this? First, create a USCIS online account so you get digital copies of every notice. Second, if you move, file a change of address with USCIS using Form AR-11 immediately. Third, set calendar reminders for every deadline with a buffer of at least 1 week. On-screen text, tip, always respond at least 7 days before the deadline. Mistake number 2, incorrect or incomplete forms. On-screen text, mistake number 2, bad forms. This is the number 1 reason for requests for evidence, which slow your case down dramatically. And in some situations, USCIS won't even send an RFE, they'll just deny you outright. The form at the center of most green card applications is Form I-485, which is called the application to register permanent residence or adjust status. It's long. It's detailed. And every single field matters. Common errors include leaving fields blank instead of writing not applicable or none, using an outdated version of the form. USCIS updates forms regularly and rejects old versions automatically, forgetting to sign and date the form, and not including required supporting documents like photos, medical exams, or financial affidavits. Graphic, checklist showing common I-485 errors with red X marks. How to avoid this? Always download forms directly from uscis.gov on the day you plan to file. Double-check every page. Use the USCIS filing instructions document that comes with every form, it tells you exactly what to include. And honestly? Have a second pair of eyes review everything before you mail it. Mistake number 3, misrepresentation on applications. On-screen text, mistake number 3, misrepresentation. Okay, this is where things get really serious. Misrepresentation, sometimes called immigration fraud, is one of the fastest ways to not only get denied, but to get permanently barred from ever getting a green card. What counts as misrepresentation? It's when you provide false information to get an immigration benefit. And here's the critical part, it doesn't matter whether you did it on purpose or by accident. USCIS can still hold it against you. Examples include lying about your work history, saying you've never been arrested when you have, even if the charges were dropped, claiming a fake marriage to get a green card, or using someone else's documents. Graphic, side-by-side showing honest mistake versus intentional fraud, both can cause denial. But even honest mistakes get flagged. If you wrote the wrong date for when you entered the US, or you forgot to mention a previous visa application in another country, USCIS may see that as a red flag. How to avoid this? Be completely, painfully honest on every form. If you're not sure about a date or a detail, do your research before you write it down. If you made an error on a form you already submitted, talk to an immigration attorney about filing a correction. Transparency is always better than getting caught in an inconsistency. On-screen text, rule, when in doubt, disclose. Mistake number 4, unlawful presence issues. On-screen text, mistake number 4, unlawful presence. This one is complicated, so I'm going to break it down as clearly as I can. Unlawful presence means you stayed in the United States after your authorized period of stay expired. For example, if you came on a tourist visa and were authorized to stay for 6 months, but you stayed for 8 months, those extra 2 months count as unlawful presence. Graphic, timeline showing visa expiration date and continued stay, with unlawful presence highlighted in red. Why does this matter for your green card? Because under U.S. immigration law, if you accumulate 180 days, that's about 6 months, of unlawful presence and then leave the U.S., you trigger a 3-year bar. That means you cannot re-enter the U.S. or get a green card for 3 years. If you accumulate 1 year or more of unlawful presence and leave, the bar jumps to 10 years. On-screen text, 180 days equals 3-year bar, 1 year equals 10-year bar. Now, there are some exceptions and waivers. For example, if you're adjusting status inside the U.S. through an immediate relative, that's a spouse, parent, or child of a U.S. citizen, unlawful presence may be forgiven under certain provisions. There's also a waiver called Form I-601, the application for waiver of grounds of inadmissibility, which allows you to request forgiveness if you can show your denial would cause extreme hardship to a qualifying U.S. citizen or permanent resident relative. How to avoid this? Know your authorized stay dates. Check your I-94 record, that's your arrival and departure record, at i94.cbp.dhs.gov. If you think you may have overstayed, consult an immigration attorney before filing anything. Do not leave the country without legal advice, because leaving is what triggers the bar. Mistake number 5, failing the public charge rule. On-screen text, mistake number 5, public charge. The public charge rule is one of the most misunderstood parts of immigration law, and in 2026, it's still a major factor in green card decisions. So what is public charge? In simple terms, USCIS wants to make sure that if you become a permanent resident, you won't become primarily dependent on the U.S. government for financial support. They look at whether you're likely to rely heavily on certain government benefits. Graphic, list of factors USCIS considers: age, health, income, education, assets, sponsor's affidavit. The key document here is Form I-864, the Affidavit of Support. Your sponsor, usually the U.S. citizen or permanent resident petitioning for you, must prove they earn at least 125% of the federal poverty guidelines for their household size. If your sponsor doesn't meet the income requirement, the application can be denied. But there are solutions. A joint sponsor can step in, that's a second person who meets the income threshold and agrees to be financially responsible. You can also show your own assets, savings, or a job offer in the U.S. On-screen text, 125% of poverty line for 2026, check uscis.gov for current amounts. Common mistakes here include, the sponsor not reporting all household members, using the wrong year's poverty guidelines, not including tax returns or W-2s, and forgetting that the affidavit is a legally binding contract. How to avoid this? Gather at least 3 years of tax returns, recent pay stubs, and a letter from the sponsor's employer. Use the current 2026 poverty guidelines. If the numbers are close, get a joint sponsor lined up early. Mistakes 6 to 10, quick fire round. On-screen text, rapid fire, 5 more mistakes. Graphic, countdown from 10 to 6 on screen. Alright, let's move quickly through 5 more mistakes that trip people up. Mistake number 6, skipping the medical exam or using an unauthorized doctor. You must complete Form I-693, the medical examination, with a USCIS designated civil surgeon. Using any other doctor means your results won't be accepted. On-screen text, number 6, wrong doctor for medical exam. Mistake number 7, criminal history you didn't disclose. Even minor offenses, a DUI, a shoplifting charge from 10 years ago, even an arrest without a conviction, must be disclosed. USCIS runs FBI background checks. They will find out. On-screen text, number 7, undisclosed criminal history. Mistake number 8, not attending your interview. If USCIS or the U.S. consulate schedules an interview and you don't show up, your case can be denied or abandoned. If you can't make the date, request a reschedule in writing immediately. On-screen text, number 8, missing your interview. Mistake number 9, failing to maintain valid immigration status while your green card is pending. If you're in the U.S. on a work visa or student visa, make sure that status doesn't lapse while you're waiting for your green card decision. On-screen text, number 9, letting your current status expire. Mistake number 10, not hiring a lawyer when your case is complicated. If you have any red flags, prior denials, criminal history, overstays, complex family situations, trying to do this alone is a gamble you don't want to take. On-screen text, number 10, going solo on a complex case. What to do if your green card was already denied? On-screen text, already denied? Here's what to do. Okay, so what if you're watching this video and your green card was already denied? Don't panic. You have options. First, read your denial notice very carefully. USCIS tells you the specific reason for the denial and what, if any, options you have. This is crucial. Graphic, flowchart, denial read notice 3 options branch out. Option 1, file a motion to reopen or a motion to reconsider. A motion to reopen is when you have new evidence that wasn't available before. A motion to reconsider is when you believe USCIS made a legal error. Both are filed using Form I-290B. Option 2, appeal to the Board of Immigration Appeals, known as the BIA. This is a higher authority that reviews whether USCIS applied the law correctly. You generally have 30 days from the denial to file an appeal. Option 3, refile your application. In some cases, it's faster and easier to simply correct the errors and submit a brand new application. This works best when the denial was for something fixable, like incomplete forms or missing documents. On-screen text, 30-day window for most appeals, don't miss it. And I cannot stress this enough, if your case was denied, consult an immigration attorney. Many offer free or low-cost initial consultations. The cost of a lawyer is almost always less than the cost of a permanent denial. The 3-door framework, your next step. On-screen text, which door are you? Graphic, 3 doors appearing, green, yellow, red. Alright, let's figure out where you stand right now. Door number 1, the green door, you haven't filed yet, or you're early in the process. You are in the best position. Go back through this video, screenshot the tips, and check every single item before you submit. Download the latest forms from uscis.gov today. You can get this right the first time. Graphic, green door opens, checklist and file with confidence text. Door number 2, the yellow door, you've already filed, and you're now worried you may have made one of these mistakes. Here's what to do: log into your USCIS account, check your case status, and review copies of everything you submitted. If you spot an error, contact USCIS or consult a lawyer about submitting a correction or responding proactively to a potential RFE. You still have time to fix this. Graphic, yellow door opens, magnifying glass over documents and review and correct text. Door number 3, the red door, your green card was denied, or you have a serious issue like unlawful presence, misrepresentation, or a criminal record. This path is harder, but it is not over. File that appeal within your deadline. Explore waivers like the I-601 or I-212. And hire an experienced immigration attorney. This is not the time to go it alone. There are alternative paths, and a professional can help you find the right one. Graphic, red door opens, attorney consultation image and get legal help now text. Final CTA. Alright, those are the 10 biggest green card mistakes to avoid in 2026. Now I want to hear from you, which mistake on this list surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments below, and if you have questions about your specific situation, comment that too. I read every single one and I try to respond to as many as I can. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you don't miss our next video. We put out new green card and immigration content every single week right here on Green Card Blueprint. On-screen text, subscribe plus bell for weekly 2026 immigration updates. And if you want to keep going, watch this video next. It's our complete step-by-step guide to filling out Form I-485 without errors. I'll see you in that one. Graphic, end screen with suggested video card and subscribe button.